Hey, what's up, my friends? Yeah, I know this is pretty much just an Illuminated Sabers channel, but I picked up this guy today. Another movie megs from the Transformers studio series. You probably don't know this about me, but I've been collecting Transformers since day one, and I've hardly stopped. And if you think I have a lot of lightsabers, you don't know me yet. I have many, many, many Transformers. And I saw this movie Megs today, and I was just like, all right, all right, all right. It looks like I'm buying myself another Transformers tonight. Kind of went to, try to find a Transformers Siege or one of the new, I think it's called Earthfall or something like that. And I haven't been buying all of the movie figures. It's just been too many of them, but yeah, I had to get this guy. Well, anyway, that's the movie makes from the very first Transformers live action Bay movie. Anyway, so let's put this guy aside and get down to business. I'm going to review, or rather, do a freewheeling part 2 of my review of my GS or Genesis Custom Sabers Darkside Vector. And this is kind of my third attempt at doing this part of the review, and I've come to the conclusion that I'm gonna go easy on myself with the I'm not really gonna do so much of a tutorial of how the CFX works, because every time I try it's an abysmal failure. I'm just gonna essentially show you how to change the colors and the fonts, and how to do how to access the different blade profiles, such as they are. I haven't mastered it, but it's all about the saber, pretty much. So yeah, this is my Darkside Vector, and as I said, it's equipped with the CFX, and it's neopixel, and you've seen much of this. I showed you the inner workings, the chassis, and whatnot. And obviously, this is all put together. The pommel is just pretty much a solid piece of aluminum, and the rest of the saber is kind of a mix of, I think, black and sort of chrome anodization. You get to where the triggers are, and the triggers are recessed because there's an inner core. And it's a little bit, I have kind of large fingers, so it's difficult for me to get my fingers in here. Like, you can see my finger barely fits, but this prevents it prevents from accidentally turning the saber on and off and changing features. But just basically the way the CFX works, that's not much of an issue anyway, because it's all momentary. For this particular saber, I went with the purple / violet, whatever you want to call it, illuminated switches. When you purchase your saber from Genesis Custom Saber, you get to pick the color. It's just one single color, and it doesn't change with the color profile, because there's just too many colors available in NeoPixel to even bother. So you get to pick one color, and purple's pretty much one of my all-time favorite colors. So that's what I went with. And it sort of symbolizes my level of Jedi-ness, I guess. Anyway, see, moving down the saber, it's kind of funny. The whole saber has sort of a liberator kind of feel. It sort of tapers in the middle. This section right here, well, the whole saber, but this section right here is super smooth. There's no friction. You don't get that kind of feel that you get from, when you do the same thing on Ultra Saber. You can kind of hear the texture. But this is completely smooth, very, very comfortable to swing. I currently have a 32-inch NeoPixel blade equipped into my Vector, and it is perfectly balanced. Perfect. So anyway, this is kind of a choke point, but not really. The way the saber really works is this is kind of your actual choke point there's so much tactile feedback here, and then this is sort of functions as a stopper for your hand, so you never really lose kind of a sense of where your hand is on the saber. So even though it's completely smooth, you're not really going to be losing this out of your hand because it's very tactile. It's just an ingenious design, and this section right here is just sort of it's the bread and butter of, I think, a lot of Genesis custom sabers. Rob Peckhow's designs is he uses sections like this, and it's a very nice aesthetic choice, and I quite prefer it to some other options. So you have a nice slanted emitter with a cutaway, and again, it's just kind of anodized on the outside. It's black on the surface, and then I think it's anodized on the outside. And this is the main blade retention screw. You really have to get this nice and tight to hold that blade on. I found that with a 36-inch blade, this would tend to loosen up on me, but I haven't encountered that issue at all with the 32-inch blade. And this blade came from Pt.2 Armory, and so far it's been amazing. The price was phenomenal. I have to say the Pt.2 Armory wasn't the most communicative business that I've dealt with. I had kind of, in my order instructions, made an inquiry regarding installations and whatnot, and that went unanswered. And yeah, well, it is what it is. The blade is excellent, so and the price was phenomenal. So I definitely would order another blade from them, as I probably will have to do pretty soon, for various and sundry reasons. The blade, it's a 1-inch blade. Obviously, the blade holder is also 1 inch. It was a little bit of a snug fit. Not to the point where you had to really work the blade in, but you definitely kind of did. But that really worked to the benefit of the saber, because I'd rather have a kind of a snug fit, because that coupled with having to really turn this, and you just don't want the blade flying out, or the connection between the blade and the pins in here to get loose, and so anyway, it definitely works to my advantage. Anyway, so moving along. As far as how the saber functions, this is your main activation switch. This is your auxiliary switch. So obviously to turn the saber on. I currently have it set to a blade profile that I do not care if I change. So it's going to be, open season. As far as, turning the saber off, it's just a simple matter of holding the switch, thing turns off. To change your sound font, you hold the auxiliary switch until you hear
sound bank selection.
And then you select your new font. You hold it until you hear your boot sound, and then I kind of want to show this off a little bit, because I really like this blade effect. I know it's light in here, I apologize for that, but it is what it is. So, off. Watch what happens when you turn this on. It flashes. Let's see if I can get in a little closer. I don't know. I really like that. It might not look like much, but it's quite cool. It's one of the more interesting and subtle effects. It's kind of I guess you'd call it a bit of a flare. It actually turns on, and then it sort of stutters and flares, and then it ignites. Just simply awesome. It's so cool. Anyway, so let's change it back to my experimental font.
Sound bank selection.
Nightfall.
So we're working with Nightfall. Hold that. Get your boot sound. You can see it's active. Okay, so when that's active, what I find that works, and I've been told conflicting information, but you're supposed to be able to hold both these simultaneously. What I find works is I hit auxiliary. Whoops. This is really difficult to do with one hand and not being able to hold the saber. Okay.
Spectrum.
Alright, so I actually kind of hit the auxiliary switch and then tap the main button, and that put me into spectrum mode. And there's two different ways to change your color profiles. One is to rotate the saber, and it's a little bit difficult with this effect, but you can see it's kind of changing colors. So right now we've got kind of a, I would call that a kind of an indigo. So to save it, you're going to hold, I'm at the wrong angle, but you're going to hold the auxiliary switch.
Blade profile.
And I'm going to switch to blade profile so I can actually change the effect of the, there you go. So we'll go with like a bit of a subtle flicker, and then you're just going to tap auxiliary, and that locks that into place. So you can actually change both the color and the blade profiles just by doing two different things. So again, hit auxiliary
Spectrum
and tap the I'll show you this. Alright, so you can change it by either rotating the hilt, or you can change it by moving it around laterally, or what have you. Let's see, let's find something nice. I kind of like that indigo I had. Which I'm apparently not going to find again. Oh. Okay, we'll stick with that. So tap auxiliary. Whoops. Ow. Again, not easy to do with one hand.
Spectrum.
Now I can't find that color. Alright. There we go. Got it locked in. Yay. So, now we're all locked in. We have our sound font. We have our blade color. We have our flicker. This isn't one of the smooth swing fonts. Most of the standard fonts that come with the CFX for some reason aren't smooth swing, but I will switch right now to one of the fonts that is smooth swing. We'll get some Darth Maul action on.
Sound bank selection.
Nightfall.
Crystal focus.
Go the other way.
Nightfall.
There we go. And of course, the way crystal focus works is you hit the, and again, difficult to do with one hand, but let me try. You can kind of hold the auxiliary switch while you're swinging. Apparently, I'm not going to be able to do this one-handed. You get kind of your effect there. It's easier to show, whoops, with
Sound bank selection.
Hero. This, of course, is a Luke Skywalker font. This is my preferred font for this saber, with one of my favorite colors that I can find on the CFX. Alright, wow, that was a chore. My arm's sore now. Yeah, it's definitely it's not easy to access all the buttons one-handed. You really have to have you have to have one hand supporting this particular saber while the other one's doing all the, actions in order to be able to easily toggle through all the effects and features and whatnot. But other than that, it's a dream, it's a delight. Um Other sabers have the more of the like the tactile buttons, which might be a little bit easier, but because this is designed the way it's designed for specific purposes, mostly access to the chassis, access to the SD card and the port and what have you. Plus it's infinitely upgradable. Um, it's just made for ease of access, and you know conversely, you do sacrifice a few things that you find in most sabers. For instance, this doesn't have in-hilt recharge, and it also doesn't have a kill key. So you have two options. You can basically either remove the battery, or you can let it go into deep sleep mode on its own. And the deep sleep mode, I think on the CFX, and I imagine it's probably adjustable, though I don't know how. The only thing I've played around with so far is the configuration for the blade length. For the 32-inch blade, it was one of the configurations called LED strip, and for the 32-inch blade, I have it set to 120, which seems to work just fine. Um, I was having a really hard time in the forums trying to get an answer to this. In fact, no one was, coming forward and giving me an answer from anywhere. So I basically just did the math, and that's how I came up with that number, and it works fine. Yeah, what was I gonna say? I think I just skipped right past something and went into another thing. At any rate, so let me just give you the final visual tour of this saber. Just from the top here. I'm not gonna rotate it. My future uh, holds probably at least one, possibly two more Genesis Custom Sabers purchases. Unfortunately, and I just went to the Genesis Custom Saber website tonight. Pretty much everything's out of stock. Not going to be available until spring or summer or fall. I would like to definitely get an Ascend. I think the Ascend is a really beautiful hilt. In fact, it kind of came between the Ascend and the Darkside Vector as far as my final choice was. But I definitely want to get a bad axe. I want a neopixel curved hilt saber in my collection. I think the bad axe is phenomenal. He's doing a run for a Bane, but that's just a little bit too rich for my blood. It's something like $1,900, and yeah, I really can't spend that kind of money on a saber. In fact, as you've probably noticed, my unboxings are becoming kind of fewer. I have some things coming in, but I'm definitely buying a lot less and sort of not taking the bait on some of the purchases that I might have done previously. But what's been helping is the fact that sabers are really starting to become a little bit difficult to find. I everything that's going on in the world today is not really helping our hobby at all. But it's definitely helping my pocketbook. uh, yeah. At any rate, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much that covers everything that I know about the CFX and my Genesis Custom Sabers Darkside Vector. You'll notice I skipped all the menu options in here. Well, the reason why I did that is if you saw it, like how much I was kind of struggling to just go through the colors and the blade profiles and the font switchings. Yeah, I had a lot of difficulty just working with the menu options. So I'm going to leave that part to other people that are far more capable of demonstrating that. Suffice to say, there isn't a whole lot that you can do in there anyway, and so I just skipped it. So please forgive me. Yeah. Um, so we have Megatron and my Vector. So yeah, hope you enjoyed seeing this wonderful NeoPixel Saber in action. And yeah, take care, stay healthy. My love to you all, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening and a wonderful upcoming weekend. You take care now. Bye bye.